Welcome to the Goal Achievers Podcast, where we interview the most preeminent business experts, authors, and speakers in their field of expertise, and provide you with the specialized knowledge needed to achieve your goals. Now here is your host, author, founder of Goal Achievers International, and one of the top speakers agents in the industry, serving over 5,000 events and meeting planners worldwide. Please welcome Phil R. Taylor.
Today, we're so privileged and I'm so joyful to have a good friend and a special guest on by the name of Dr. James Perdue, who on September 11th, 1983, became a quadriplegic from playing a football game. The doctor said to James, "I'm sorry, you'll never walk again, and you might be paralyzed from your neck down." Later, the doctor advised his family to place him in a nursing home. He would be too much of a burden for them to take care of, so the doctor said. Well, today, as an expert on perseverance, resilience, and mental toughness, Professor Dr. James educates leaders and teams on how to rebound from life's inevitable setbacks and maximize productivity through life. So, Dr. James, it's great to have you on our program.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Appreciate it. This is awesome.
James, you are very accomplished. You're a prolific author. You've written numerous books. You've achieved your doctorate degree. You've gone on and inspired audience through your keynote speeches, and you continue to do so through your Perseverance podcast. Could you take us back, for those who haven't heard your story, back to that momentous, life-changing day of September 11th, and give us a backdrop to that?
Yeah, thank you, Phil. And, I was one of them growing up, and I wanted to be a professional athlete. My father died when I was 16. And so I had to grow up kind of fast from there. So I wouldn't say we were poor, but I would say we were knocking on the door of being poor. Yeah. So our house, sometimes when it rained, sometimes the roof leaked. So Mom didn't have the money to afford a roofer. So here I am at 16, going up there and trying to patch it the best I could. Wintertime, 14 degrees. If our water pipes froze, I'm the one that's underneath the house at 14 degrees, trying to figure out where it's frozen, busted, and fixing the pipes because we couldn't afford a plumber. Same thing with auto mechanics, kept the cars running. So I wanted to be a professional athlete. That way, they make a few dollars nowadays. You know that, Phil?
Yeah,
they make a few dollars, And so I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And that way I can give my mom that new house so she wouldn't have to worry anymore, get her a new car, get my brothers new vehicles, get my grandmother, whatever grandmothers would want at that time, get her something. And I was even thinking, because back then in 1983, you used to be able to get what's called a mail order bride. You can, get a book and look through and, hey, I want that bean. And you can mail order you a bride. So I was going to do a mail order groom for my mom, so to help her out in that area too. And so, so fortunate enough, I did get a scholarship to go play baseball and went to Martin Methodist in Pulaski, Tennessee, and got to play one fall game. I was only in school for 2 weeks before the injury, but one fall game, and I was the only freshman that started.
Wow.
That after the game, my mom came and watched. We were playing in Nashville. She came and watched, and my brother and my grandmother came and watched. And my mom said, "Hey, I want you to come home for tonight. I'll cook you a good dinner and bring you, but take you back on the next day." Because this was Saturday evening. I said, "No, Mom." I said, everything's going forward, going good here. Here I'm only freshman starting. I said, nothing can stop me with my plan to be this professional athlete. But here, looking back, that's like the guy on the Titanic that when he says, even God himself can't sink this ship. So here I'm saying, the way things are going, Mom, nothing can stop me.
Right.
And so the next day, a bunch of us are playing a pickup game, football. Now, it is tackle, but no pads, no helmet.
Sure.
But again, we're playing tackle.
Yeah.
We had the ball, maybe been playing for about 2 hours. And finally I said, hey, I need to stop to get things ready for the next day for class. And so I was leaving the huddle, and I heard someone say, we need someone to run the ball. So I was about 10 feet away. I stopped, turned around, and said, I'll come back for one more play. And they hand the ball to me. I broke through the line and ended up scoring a touchdown. And as I was turning towards everyone, scored a touchdown, play's over. As I'm turning towards everyone, I see something in my peripheral vision on my right side. I feel contact about shoulder high. I hear a loud pop and go to the ground. And that day, Phil, only one of us returned to our feet, and it wasn't me. Paralyzed instantly.
Wow, what a story. And what a beginning to a new chapter, and an eventful one in your life. But I don't think most of us, if any of us, could possibly imagine the what was going on through your mind. So what happened afterwards, and when did you start realizing what had happened?
Oh, I knew I was paralyzed instantly.
Instantly, really?
Well,
Wow.
I say instantly. I knew it because the guy, he was saying something. So I was left-handed. So when I heard that loud pop and felt it on my right side,
Yeah.
I thought that my collarbone broke.
Yeah.
And so the guy was doing something, and hollering. I tackled him. And I said, "Yeah." After the play, I'm laying on the ground. After the play, like that, and I said, "I'm going to get up and beat him up." That's what I
Yeah.
figured. I'm left-handed. I can fight one-handed, and so
Yeah.
I got up. Oh, no, no, no! I tried to get up. I lift my head, and nothing followed. Just my shoulders
Wow.
didn't come up with me. My definitely legs and toes, and they didn't come up. Arm didn't come up, and I put my head back down. And then the guy goes, "Does the touchdown still count?" And I go, "Man, I'm really gonna get up now." And I lift my head again, and then put my head down. Then the old adage, three is a charm. So I took a deep breath, tried a third time, and then put my head down. And then I started thinking. I knew I was paralyzed instantly. And then I started thinking of a friend I'd met named JT. JT, I used to visit my grandfather when I was 12, 14 years old in a nursing home. One day I wanted to go visit my grandfather in the room before my grandfather. I was getting ready to pass, and I heard someone say, "Hey, bud, come here and help me with something." So I go in, and I could see he was curled up. He couldn't move from his neck down. And he asked me to hold his water so he could get a drink of water. And so JT was his name. And I started thinking, I'm going to be at age 19, I'm going to be in a nursing home like JT. That's went through my head then.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about the progression of what's gotten you to the place that you are today, since that incredible life-changing moment. What are some of the key lessons or turning points you've had to go through?
I think a big part, again, growing up, I felt I was invincible, that nothing was going to stop me. I could do what I wanted and go from there. And I always had that invincibility attitude. And
Mm.
so I used that to keep me going. Plus, I got to throw it in, whether people believe it or not, God knew I needed my family to be with me way before we was even born.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Because this family I'm in, they have sacrificed so much to make sure I have been so successful. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So I really believe, God, my family, and some close friends. So, and then they come in and out of your life, the a chapter here, and then you got someone's done and they're out of here. But then you got some that's here forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lot of lessons that have. Did you go through any period of despair, and how were you able to, if so, how were you able to pull through that? What were some of those?
I didn't realize how depressed I was until I got out of it. The
Wow.
first 5 years, I put a face on in front
Really?
of my family because I didn't want them worrying about me. Every time he saw me, hey, yeah, it's a good day today. You got to say, let's go try to do whatever, and a big old. But when I go to bed, I'm just sitting there thinking in my head how much of a wasted life I'm going to have, how much I'm going to be burdened to them, and things like that. But I played that role of faking it just
Yeah.
so they wouldn't worry. And when I finally got out of it, it took me 5 years. Now, not to say I didn't try to do anything during that first 5 years. We're doing our own physical therapy. We're working out. I went back to college, and the reason I went back to college, I got tired of looking at my mom and brother's face,
Right.
and so I went to get out just to meet other people, not to study, just so I can meet other people and talk to other people.
Yeah.
And so I was in college, and I fell out. Then I go back, then fell out, then go back. And so, but after the 5th year, I had been to 18 different rehabs in that 5 years,
Wow.
trying to find that cure. And then after the last one, I'm out of this depression. I finally go, I lied to everybody, lied to myself, lied to the family. I said, not that I'm going to quit trying to walk again, but we're going to put it on the back burner, because if I'm going to have a life, I need to go to college. I need to be serious about it for me to be able to get the degree and be functional in society. And so, I didn't mean for that to be a lie, but it turned out being a lie, because since then, I've never gone one time to a rehab to try to do anything walking.
So it really speaks to the importance and the wisdom of acceptance, would you say?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Finally, I accept where I was in life at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of a fine line to walk between perseverance and acceptance. How do you reconcile the two or marry the two?
See, one part that was making things so hard to finally accept that I'll be in the wheelchair longer than I thought I would be. Because again, I had this invincibility that I'm going to walk one day. That again, when I was talking about we were doing physical therapy at home, within a year, while I was still in the hospital, I even got where I can move my legs. I started moving muscles in my legs and everything. And so I started thinking, well, we'll get the legs strengthened, then I'll be able to walk again. I got where I was able to stand up on my own, walk with a walker for 10 minutes. Now, I felt like I run 3 miles, but 10 minutes of walking. So I kept working to get better and better, and more than 10 minutes. There'd be times I was up at 30 minutes.
Wow.
But no more than 30 at one time like that. And then I'd have to rest 3 or 4 hours before I could attempt to do it again. And so, so when you're getting that enough to keep going until finally there's a plateau and you just go 18 different rehabs, I'm not getting any stronger, really, that if we're going to do anything, we need to start doing it now. Need to start changing things around. And so after, accepting 10 minutes, and I like to say this, Phil, that the doctors, like you read, said I'll never walk again. And I would like to say, Phil, that I made a liar out of the doctors for 10 minutes. Okay. It was just the other 23 hours and 50 minutes he was correct. So, but because again, you're getting that little nibble to keep going, to keep going, to keep going. And finally you just go, I can keep going for 10 minutes for 30 years, but that's not going to get me. Because if you can't walk more than 10 minutes, you're sure not going to get a job to go do it, So that's when I learned that, using the wheelchair to have a good life, not the worst thing in the world. There's other things worse than this, that's for sure.
Wow. What a time. And it really reminds me of, and we've spoken about this, the serenity prayer, which goes, I believe, something like this. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
To know the difference. That's right. The very first time I heard that serenity prayer, I'd left St. Thomas Hospital and went down to Alabama to a spinal cord facility, and I'm going, hey, I'm already moved my legs before we get down to these specialists. I'll be walking before Christmas. and they didn't do what I wanted, and
Yeah.
so I didn't accept what they wanted.
Yeah.
They were trying their best to teach me how to live in the wheelchair, how to
Yeah.
transfer, how to get around, how to do. When I was using my legs, I wanted to concentrate on the legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, over time, I finally realized they were right. I was wrong. It was
Uh-huh.
just my stupidity and invincibility, hard headedness that I just didn't want to give up at that time
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
And so, but one nurse one day, she recited that Serenity Prayer, and I, again, dumb me, I go, "Wow!" I said, "Did you come up with that?" I said, "Did you make that up?" And she said, "No." And she brought me a bookmarker with that Serenity Prayer in the next day, and I had that thing in my wallet for like 30 years until I lost my wallet.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot. That's a very powerful prayer. It's a short prayer, but extremely powerful, to accept the things you cannot change. I guess to ponder what we can't change other people's attitudes, other people's actions. We don't have power over that. But there is quite a bit that we do have power over, which is our attitude, right?
Oh,
And
yes. Oh,
our
yes.
choices. And then the wisdom. But then it also brings me to another great quote. I think it was Einstein who came up with this. He said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Exactly. I was in that boat for a long time. Yes. You know,
Okay, so let's get into the three core questions about perseverance. How would you define perseverance in your own words,
I would think
according to the
it's,
doctor?
yeah, I would think that it's, I don't want to say not giving up because there's times we're all giving up. Okay. And people use different terms for that, right? When I'm quitting, giving up, I'm retiring, right?
Right.
So, so we've got to be, we've got to think along the line of what we can do. And there's nothing wrong with trying to do things outside of what we can to see if it's possible.
Yes.
Okay. And so as long as we can push forward, I don't care if someone one day says, I feel like I've gone 3 steps forward, but I get knocked back 2 steps. And I go, cool, that's great, man. That means you're still 1 step into good.
Yeah.
You're still moving forward.
Yeah.
Move forward at a snail's pace. It doesn't have to be in a hurry. If you got a timeline, just do what you need to do to break things down to get to that timeline. And again, it's not all about giving up. It's again, to me, it's now it's drop back punting and regrouping and come up with a new plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, mile by mile, it's hard, but inch by inch, it's a cinch. And it's amazing what small baby steps can do over a period of time in terms of progress. That is terrific. So what's the difference? There seems to be a fine line between perseverance and resilience. Do you want to speak to that, and how do they work together, or how are they different?
Yeah, they definitely intertwine with each
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely there. And I don't know. That's a question I've never really thought of.
Yeah.
What could be different? I've always just keep them and intertwine them together.
Sure.
I've never looked it up in a dictionary to see what's the difference.
That's true.
And so I've just never thought of that way. Again, I'm one of the dumb people. I try to look for the positive side of everything.
Yeah.
And to me, if we're trying to separate it, to me that would be a negative thing. But again, obviously there's differences,
Yes.
but I don't know them. So, and I'm not going to pretend like I do there, Phil.
Hey, I don't even know why I asked the question, but it was there.
That's a good question. Now, when we leave, I'm going to research it, so I'll have it in my arsenal for the next person that asks me that.
Right.
The next genius that asks me that.
Okay, so here's the key question, because we talked about the definition of insanity. We talked about the importance of acceptance. how do you discern what's what? Remember that old, because you do so many sports analogy, that 1 mile run by, who was it? The 3 second mile, the 4 second mile.
Oh, I
That
don't know.
they said that it was impossible to run. Who was
Oh, a
that?
3 minute mile,
The,
not a
the
three
three the
second.
3 minute mile.
Woo,
I'm sorry.
three
Okay,
second. Yeah,
silly me.
woo.
Okay,
But it's a 3 minute mile.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know the full story on that and the guy's name, but yeah, it was told that no one could ever do it, and finally someone
yeah,
did it. You
yes,
know, um, people were told they couldn't. Today's athletes, especially in
yeah,
football, all the way they're bench pressing and leg pressing and squatting.
yeah,
Uh, People 100 years ago would be going, "You're crazy. That can't be done.
yeah,
That much weights." But as we get older, the better technology it comes around, the better improvement in our mindsets. Uh, we're almost unlimited on what can be done.
yeah,
It's the people that sit there and go, "No, it can't be done."
yeah.
They're the ones that's limiting things in their life. And
That's right.
so, and again, it can't be done our time. Then
Right.
50 years ago, somebody's going to be able to do it.
True. True. And the
And
name
then
was Bannister, if I recall. Bannister
I
was the
think, yeah, I believe you're right on that. And
the
yeah, he
yeah.
was, yeah, but he quit running for a while, something come up, and then he came back again in his history.
It
Yeah.
could be, but once he broke that record, that was deemed impossible. A whole bunch of other people broke the record shortly thereafter. So it's quite interesting. What are some of the applications in business and everyday life that can come as a result of perseverance?
Uh, oh, it's a big toolbox that
Yes.
we have
Okay.
in our to use, and a lot of it's again it's in our mindset
Yes.
to be able to, this is what I want, and then what do you we go in and determine what we want. Now let's determine how we get there.
Yes.
Again, we set goals, we set baby steps, we got our long goals to a reach, and then we put it all together. And then again, like I said, if you get stuck in a place, that doesn't mean you're wrong. Great thing about science is they can fail and still be right with their theory, because
Yes.
they found a way it won't work. So now
Yeah.
let's drop back, reevaluate, and then see how we can get around it.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be ashamed. This was one of my things early on too, Phil. My sinful pride would get in the way. I would not allow someone to help me. I'd rather fight for an hour getting my clothes on by myself and then be so wore out that I couldn't do anything for 2 hours. So learning to ask for help
Yeah.
when there's millions of people that want to help. They
Yes.
want you to succeed as much as you want it, and they want to help you. But you've got to be able to help,
Wow.
not help, ask for
Yeah.
that help.
Yeah.
And so that's one big thing for me is I had to swallow my simple pride and ask for that first help to get someone to help put my shoes on, so I wouldn't fight 20 minutes getting the shoes on. Now, not to say that I still can't try to get my shoes on, because some days it may take me only 4 minutes, where other days I've got a muscle spasm fighting and whatever else going on. And then you say, "Hey, it's taking me longer. Hey, can y'all help me get this on?"
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's plenty. Don't be afraid to ask for this help. And again, search for people that may be going after the same thing you're going after, because they've already been through it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and piggyback and help each other.
Tremendous. Seems so simplistic, but it's amazing how our pride can complicate things and really paralyze us from
Yes.
moving forward. To somebody who knows that persevering is so important towards the achievement of their goals, and you mentioned their goals, but they just they're at the urge of quitting. What are some of the things that you can tell them to tap into? to prevent them from just throwing it all out?
Again, the first thing I would do is consult with, a coach, a mentor, someone's already in the field, specialist.
Yeah.
Do your own research. We've got all this information on the tip of our fingertips.
Yeah.
Okay, from the internet, the World Wide Web. Okay, and
Yeah.
so if you get to the point where you feel like it's time to quit and give up, and there's nothing wrong with that, again, unless this is so important to you that you feel like you're just going to feel so bad about quitting.
Yeah.
All right, because there's nothing wrong with it. But if it's one of them where it's just digging into you, okay, sit back, relax, take a deep breath, take a day off from whatever you're doing, take a week off, take a month off, and then come back and see if there's something else that you're missing that you hadn't looked at before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the biggest thing to me is have this community.
Yeah.
That's going to help you.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it, once they've helped you and you've learned from it, and now you turn around and help the next person and pay it forward, and they're going to pay it forward, then you're going to be helping people 100 years from now that you have no idea, because everything's been paid forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been said, right, Emerson, one of the most beautiful compensations in life is you cannot sincerely help another person without helping yourself. And that sense of community is so important. And you have quite a toolbox in which people can draw from. One of them is a great sense of humor, I noticed. Have you always had that wonderful sense of humor prior to that incident, or is it something
other people wouldn't say it's a great sense of humor? They say it's an annoying jokester. But yeah, I like to play little pranks and jokes, and, stuff like that. So I don't. Yeah, one time, this one friend of mine, it's sad. Well, he's passed away, so he never knew I did this one prank. But one time, I knew he got behind on his truck payment.
Yeah.
And so I had a friend to go with his wrecker up there, and we pretended to repossess it. And we were going to put it in a garage for just a day or two. And he knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I'm with so and so. You're behind on your payment. We're here to repossess." My friend goes, "Okay," and just hands the keys to him, and I go, "I wasn't expecting that."
The joke was on them, right?
Yeah, it was back. Yeah, it was turn. It flipped on us on that one. Yeah,
that's great. Well, it's hard to believe that 30 minutes have gone by so quickly. It's just been such a wonderful time to spend with you, Dr. James. We hope to have you back on. You tell us a little bit about your books, some of the work that you're doing now. And by the way, for this interview, I'm not accustomed to necessarily wearing a t-shirt, but I received this wonderful t-shirt here from the Doctor of Perseverance, and I'm just proud to be wearing it. And in fact, it's not the first shirt that you've given me. I've worn some of your persevere past your paralysis shirts, and I've been stopped and asked about it, so I get to boast about you in public, whenever.
Yeah, thank you there, Phil. Other people try to hide and run from me. I don't know this guy, so thank you. No, this has been a quick 30 minutes, and
yes,
you've hosted the show very well, and I'm glad again I can holler, "I'm number one. I'm number one." So, and then, like you said, after 100 of these, you're gonna come back and you go, "And that dude stunk it up. Let's say we get better now." No. And so everything's gonna get better from here on, there, Phil.
Not at all, Dr. James. Listen, you are such an encouragement and a tremendous friend. You're a tremendous presenter and author. If people want to learn more about you, tap into some of the books or resources, call you over for an event that they may have, how can they reach you?
Most of it, just do the old Google search, Professor of Perseverance.
Yeah.
And again, you can go to Amazon. I forgot the other big book thing.
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble is down the road from me.
Yeah.
And you can find books in there. And we just talk about how we can overcome adversities and move forward in life. And may not be a perfect life, but it can still be a great life.
It sure is. Well, listen, you're a living testament to that. James, thank you for imparting your wisdom and your encouragement, your insights with us today. Look forward to following you with great interest, and so value our friendship, which has meant the world to me.
You've been listening to the Goal Achievers podcast with professional speaking agent Phil R. Taylor. For free access to all Phil's resources and interviews, please visit myspeakersource.com. Or if you are an event or meeting planner and would like more information on how we can equip you with the perfect speakers to make your event a huge success, please email us at speakers@myspeakersource.com or give us a call at 407-900-2427. This has been a My Speaker Source production. On behalf of Phil R. Taylor and the entire team, we wish you a blessed day as you pursue the achievement of your dreams and goals.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky. There's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shines all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside, send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show.